coat, white shoes, black hat, Cadillac, yeah. The boys are John Bond. Black coat, white shoes, black hat, Cadillac, yeah.
YouTube, how you doing? I'd like to wish everyone a safe and happy 4th of July holiday. And thank you for all the support you've given to the channel. Of course, you know that makes you a part of the best damn community here on YouTube, without a doubt. So we all know there are reasons we should and shouldn't stack silver. I'm going to go over those reasons today, but the one big trap you should avoid is the online and TV guys like this clown.
We had to do some Mint-State American Silver Eagles.
Yeah.
And I have to do a special price on it.
Now, this guy has made a ton of money preying on the elderly and the uninformed, and he's a shyster in the truest sense of the word. But here's the thing with silver and precious metals in general. You have to do your own due diligence and ignore the outside noise. That's how you protect yourself in the end. Anyway, let's go ahead and roll this thing. Alright, so let's go ahead and start with the wrong reasons to stack silver. And they are, number one, never, never, never stack out of peer pressure or the sensationalism you see here on YouTube. Look, the bottom line is this. YouTubers who are sponsored get paid to drive sales to online dealers. That's what they're being paid for. And there are a bunch of parties out there doing it. And they don't care if, some of them don't care if you follow their advice and throw your money away on advice that they push, products, mining stocks. I'm not even going to get into names. You guys are already aware of the ones I'm referring to. Just don't buy into the hype. Keep yourself smart. Keep watching the charts and making sound buying decisions, and you'll be fine. Your DCA is the bottom line, folks. It's the bottom line. So don't feel like you have to overspend to keep up with the Joneses and the YouTube carnies pushing false sensationalism for a buck and for views.
Hey, it's Krusty the Pizza Man. Alright, where's my $400?
Number two, never stack out of panic. Just don't. But we see this all the time, right? Silver price shoots up. All the silver pushers start squawking like parrots to get paid. And people believe the hype and go out and buy just strictly out of FOMO. Now, had they done their research, they could have gotten into silver when it was in the low to mid 20s, not all that long ago, right? But there are always going to be folks who want to get in on the latest quote-unquote money-making opportunity, so they jump on silver because of the affordability. And, well, they're usually the first ones to sell and at a loss most times when silver does what silver does, and that's stabilize or drop. And number three, never stack without being aware of silver's legitimate weaknesses, and there are a few. You've got price volatility. For example, in January of this year, 2024, we were at what? Silver price was $22.08, and before we knew it, we crossed over the $30 threshold for the first time in like 11 years and peaked at $32 an ounce. But then it came back to where we are today, so somewhere in the $28 to $29 range, but with a lot of room for more movement. Next up, storage issues. Silver, if you guys know, if you have enough, you already know, silver can take up a lot of space and have a lot of weight. This can be a problem if you're storing at home. Next, counterfeiting is at an all-time high. It really is. The Chinese and some other nations have been busy. They've been busy counterfeiting some of your favorite silver rounds, coins, and bars. Some are really convincing, while others are just so bad it's laughable. If you can, invest in a Sigma, or at least learn how to do the cheap test that can help you prove if something is real or fake. It's worth your time. Next up, risk of theft. If you're holding physical silver, you have to worry about this. But on a side note, you never, ever, ever talk to people and neighbors and such about your precious metals. Word can get around pretty quickly, and that can make you a target. Look, what happens at the LCS stays at the LCS. Next, you got risk of loss if it's not properly stored, like a fire, for example. Now, some folks will brag about having that big, expensive T15 rated fire safe that they spent 10 grand on, but the reality is a lot of folks are just stashing their metals in the house somewhere. It is what it is. And one last weakness, weak returns. It might seem like silver from 20 years ago was a bargain in comparison to now, right? But again, you have to factor in the inflation over those years, same period, and because the dollar lost value during the time you held that silver. Now, could price blow up down the road? Sure. Then again, maybe it won't. Either way, you don't get into silver hoping to make a surefire profit. That's not what it's for. Make sure your portfolio is covering that aspect with the investments other than precious metals. It's important. Silver and gold should never be your main play. Never. And you shouldn't bank your retirement on it, hoping that some of the drivel coming out of the silver pushers' mouths will actually come true at some point. All right, so those are some of the reasons not to stack silver and some of the things you need to be aware of. Now, I know a few of those things seem negative, and yeah, some of it was. But while some channels push sensationalism to try to sell silver and push silver, I try very hard to keep things real here. That's just reality. Just like any other investment or commodity that you put your money into, there's always going to be risk involved. Anyway, let's change it up and take a look at some of the great reasons to stack silver. Well, for starters, let's go with one reason that took place recently. Number one, silver price slammed out of an 11-year slump of not hitting $30 an ounce until this year, when it finally broke 30 and went up to 32 plus. And even though it did take a bit of a dip lately, it seems pretty reasonable to think that, well, maybe the new floor for silver is somewhere around the 26 to 28 range. So we're seeing a potential new floor and a price climb that was pretty substantial. Remember, we started 2024 at 22 an ounce in that range, and just 4 months later, we were $10 higher by late May. $10. We haven't seen that kind of jump in years. Just keep watching the US dollar and interest rates, and you'll have an idea of where silver's heading. Number two, silver is affordable. I mean, not everyone has a ton of money to buy gold, and especially since the new heights it's reached over the same time period as silver. Since they do run in a fairly symbiotic fashion. But silver offers a nice entry-level price into precious metals. If you own just a few ounces, hey, you're ahead of more than 95% of the U.S. population, right? Number three, silver makes a great savings account. Now, some are going to argue that silver is basically selling for the same price it was decades ago once you factor inflation into the formula. They're not wrong. There's truth to that. But it's easy to spend our fiat cash, especially when it's just a set of numbers on our laptops or phones these days. I don't see cash, just numbers. And if you stack silver, you won't want to go through the bother of selling it. Just spend that money on things you don't need or things that won't ever provide security or any kind of return. Now, silver is always going to be worth something. Some of the things you bought will probably be gone in due time with nothing coming back to you. Think about that for a minute. And number four, silver's potential is bigger now than in decades past due to its high usage in industrial applications. Solar panels, EVs, even cruise missiles all use silver, and most of that is never recycled or recovered. Now, once the application or product is expended, the silver content is gone forever. And this contributes to the deficits of mined silver year after year as demand outweighs mined product. Look it up. We've been operating in a deficit. And just a side note on the silver content of a Tomahawk missile. Can't quite nail it down, but people are arguing that there's anywhere from 380 to 500 ounces in a single missile. Take those numbers with a grain of salt. All right, folks, there you have it. Reasons you should and shouldn't stack silver. And just like anything else in this world, always do your own due diligence before parting with your freaking money. I mean, most of us watching these videos are in the 35-year-old group and up, so it's important that we don't lose money to risky endeavors. I mean, there are plenty of good reasons to stack silver, but as you saw here, plenty of reasons to be a little bit leery as well. Anyway, be sure to leave a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are. You guys know I love going through them, so make sure you sound off. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Silver and Gold Stack Attack. If you made it this far, well, kudos to you. I'll definitely catch up with you in the next episode, but in the meantime, oh yeah, you know what's up.
What do you want to do with your life?
I want to stack. Damn right, get stacked. Stay safe and be well, everyone. I am out of here. Peace, folks.
Still here? It's over. Go home. Go.
Oh, yes. And what was that beginning, middle, and end part again?